Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. I really appreciate you taking out time to check out this video. Comment, like, share, subscribe. All those things are greatly appreciated, never required. But let's not delay. So we are at episode 100, and this has been a journey, and it's been fun. We're not done, but at first I wasn't going to acknowledge it. I was going to try to be cool, like, nah, I don't care how many episodes, light work, 365, episodes total. But nah, we're gonna celebrate it. So in order to celebrate it, I had to pick a game that I felt like was impactful, a great game, classic game, at least for me, something that has kind of shaped how I view video games and the experience that they provide. And I wanted to do one that was not originally the type of game I would normally play, but then became one of my favorite, especially the series as a total. So I thought I'd pick, that particular game. And the game that I'm referring to is something you may have heard before. It's called BioShock. Now, why did I pick BioShock? Well, first and foremost, it had one of the best stories, especially at that time where I was not expecting a game to present itself, the way it did. Because the game has, first of all, it's first person. And for me, I was not a big first person game player at all. Like I, grew up on the consoles. First person was something that was really a PC thing, in my opinion, to the point to where a lot of first person shooters I tried to play early on, like I would get a headache from the motion. Like it didn't make sense, to controls. And of course I'm playing with a controller, so like trying to change the view with the stick and all of that, just it felt wonky and clunky and just not a great experience, right? And then I'm playing the 360, and the 360 had obviously incredible games. And my friend Marquise is like, yo, I got this game BioShock. Now this is way before I was really tracking what was coming out, tracking upcoming games in that way. If something caught my attention, sure. Like I bought Assassin's Creed as the first game I got for my 360 because it's something I saw and I really thought the concept was cool and all those things, right? But BioShock was not a game I would have heard about necessarily unless it was from one of my friends. It was not a game I would have been paying attention to, especially at that time. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, like, it's incredible. It's the mental aspect of it. And then too, it's like, is this a scary game? Because, you're hearing about the big daddies and all of that stuff. And he's like, no, it's not really a scary game. It's more cerebral than anything. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see what's happening. Let's try it out. And I mean, from the first, 10 minutes of the game, when you start actually playing Jack, I was like, oh, I'm in. And I was in for the ride from start to finish. I mean, the environment, the world, just the presentation, the characters, the decisions you make, like the story, the twist, everything about it was amazing. And I also remember during this time, it's when I first started hanging out with my friend Larry, and I'm showing him this game, and he's like, man, this game seems like this is something different. This is a new type of experience. And I'm like, yo, this is where we're at. And so it's like I was experiencing the future of gaming while I was playing this game. And it's so memorable for me for so many different reasons. I mean, obviously your first time fighting a big daddy, like, adrenaline is going up to 105 on a scale of 10. Like, you're seeing how strong they are the first time. And then, you got to make a decision. Do you harvest that plasmid for them little girls, or do you, take the admirable way out, And it's just those type of things. It ushered in this new way of presenting games. And, we'd had games that had done it. Metal Gear Solid never gets as much credit as, I personally think, for being a narrative-driven game. But when you started to have these experiences that, kind of felt a little more accessible with BioShock, and then, of course, what the series ended up turning to as a whole, just, incredible, right? But I didn't realize that we were going to be getting these type of experiences on the Xbox, or even just on consoles in general, right? And then what I noticed about when I started playing this again is that I was terrible at first-person shooters, because this game, while difficult, is not as difficult as I remember, and part of it is because I can play first-person shooters better. So the game isn't meant to it's not meant to be the most difficult game. When I was playing it originally, I'm like, oh, this is super tough. I was saving every 2 steps, like just afraid of making any mistakes. But the game is fair. The splicers can overwhelm you if you're not paying attention, but at the same time, I mean, the game allows you to do so much, like hacking turrets, hacking the vending machines, just giving yourself as many advantages as you can. And if you decide to, harvest the little sisters in order to maximize your plasmids, you do what you got to do. I get it, but that's not the route I chose. I took the path of doing right by the little ones. But yeah, I mean, just the way the game progresses as you get to each area, it's going to require you to do some problem solving, but it never felt like it was trying to prevent you from progressing. It was just forcing you to have to, use all of your resources. And I think that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this game, is just going from place to place and figuring out what's the best course of action. And also, this game allows you to beat it the way you'd like. So it's not like the way I played it is the only way to play it. I remember watching my friend Marquise play it and being like, okay, I don't do nearly the things that he does the way he does them, like any of the things besides, some of the basic uses of the plasmids. I saw him set up a bunch of tripwires and pretty much like lead this big daddy into ruin. And I was, I tried it before, but it wasn't really my play style, and the game allows me to play the way I like to play. So I really thought that was another thing that was really, really cool about this game. It's just, you can do it your way. You can use weapons more. You can focus on the weapon side of the game, or you can focus on the plasmid side of the game, or a combination of both, or, so many it's like not a choose your own adventure, but definitely choose your own style. Like I did a lot of hacking. That was kind of my thing, is I'm trying to hack everything in the building. Every machine, every camera, every dispensary, every first aid kit. Like I'm hacking everything. I'm like Butcher Pete out here. I'm hacking. But I'm not gonna tell you about the story itself, other than give you some basic information. You play Jack. You have a plane crash. You wake up and you make your way to Rapture, and you realize that this place is definitely different. This is in 1960s with alternate timeline stuff, right? So it's an underwater city. It's not like Atlantis, it's not, everything's not as what it appears to be, and that's going to be like a running theme in this game. But at the same time, there's just this incredible world that they've crafted, and you get to enjoy and experience. And like I said, I had never played anything like it, so this was definitely one of the more eye-opening experiences on the 360. And just during that time, it was like, okay, we're taking the next leap in gaming with this game. And I'm certain that there are other games that were definitely influenced by what they did. I also noticed that they kind of did similar art style to what we would know as Fallout. And at the time, I didn't play Fallout, so I had no idea. But with this game, learning that obviously Fallout was out way earlier, they probably got a little bit from them. But yeah, really enjoyed it. If you haven't played it, there's multiple, ways to play it. Collections, the console version, the version that you're seeing is actually the PC remake, or HD reskin, I guess would be the thing to call it. But even if you just played on 360, it was great looking then. It's still good looking now. Like, you'll be able to tell what everything is, so you'll be good. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. This one was a little longer than normal just because it was the 100th episode, so I appreciate everybody who's watched even 1 minute of one episode, and I look forward to making at least 265 more. So, as always, have fun. Be safe. Peace.